All right, I'm going to talk to you about cutting a mat and doing the math for the mat. So we know that our frame size is 16 by 20. So I'm going to first draw a square that is 16 by 20, and I'm going to label it up. Here's the 20, here's the 16. Our piece of artwork is 9 by 12, so I'm going to draw a square inside that, which will be our window, and I'm going to label it up 9 by 12. Next, I'm going to do some fun math. I'm going to take 20, because that is the length of our mat and the length of our artwork, and I'm going to minus it by 12, because that's what our artwork is, and I'm going to get 8. I need to split that in half, so I need to divide that by 2, and I get 4. So that I know that this is going to be 4 inches, and this is going to be 4 inches wide. Then I need to do the same thing with the 16 by 20. So I'm going to take 16 and 9, excuse me, 16 minus 9, and I get 7. I need to divide that by 2, and I get 3.5. So then I need to label this 3.5, 3.5. So I have my map for cutting my mat. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cut a mat now with the mat cutter. It's always very important to have your mat, your kind of your map of your mat. And you can see here it's 16 by 20 is the size. The inside window is going to be 9 by 12 because that's what our piece of artwork is. We've already done the math beforehand. So what I need to do is to set up the mat cutter and just get the dimensions down first. I have also labeled up my mat board with 4 inches and 4 inches, 3.5, 3.5. So we have the equal distance for the top and bottom and side to side. I hope that makes sense. So over here on the left-hand side of the mat cutter is a ruler, and it goes, I think, 1 to 6 here. And you move it by adjusting these screws. So I'm going to move this to 3.5 inches, and then I'm going to tighten it down and lock it down. So this is kind of our straight edge of our ruler to help us make some nice straight lines. Then I'm going to slide in my mat board and make sure it's snug as a bug in a rug. Hold this down flat and draw a straight line. And I know that this is 3.5 inches. I need to do the same thing on the opposite side. So we're good to go. Now I need to adjust it for 4 inches. And I want to do the same thing. Make sure it's snug as a bug, tight, hold it down, draw a straight line. Flip to the other side, and looks like I'm good. I also want to take my piece of artwork at this time and see if it sits in where I cut. And it sits in nicely. So we're ready to use the mat cutter. All right, now we're ready to use the mat cutter. So I need to set my left-hand side where the measurements are to 3.5 again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure that I get it snug as a bug in a rug. I'm tightening it down. I've got it down. Oops, it doesn't look like I have it quite right because remember I did those lines before. So, oh, there we go. I made sure it's nice and snug. Oh, perfect. So what I'm going to do is on my mat cutter here, there is a little line here, and I don't know if you can see it. That's the starting point where I'm going to lay down my blade. So I want that little line to line up with the line that I put here. Can you see that? Okay. We're just checking the filming. And then it looks good. I'm going to take this little button, and before I start to press it down, I want to make sure I'm snug as a bug in a rug, and I am. I'm going to push this down. I'm going to push on the lever of the mat cutter, and I'm going to hold down the mat with my left, and I'm pulling with my right. And I'm going to pull, pull, pull till I get to that line that I made earlier. And I'm going to push down, and I'm going to gently release. And how I like to do this is we have an opposite side of 3.5, and we want to make sure our cuts are even. So I'm going to slowly rotate this clockwise, and I'm going to slide it back into the mat cutter, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Lining up the line with the line, pressing down the button, pushing down the lever, holding my left hand with the mat, and pulling towards myself and stopping when I get to the line. Push down on the button and gently pull up the mat cutter. Now I have to make an adjustment for 4 inches. So again, I'm going to undo the knobs, push back, tighten down, and I was doing counterclockwise or clockwise, so I'm going to go to this 4 inches over here. Push this down and do the exact same thing all over again. Line it up. Make sure I'm snug as a bug in a rug. Pushing the button down. Left hand's holding the side of the mat. Right hand is drawing the mat cutter down. Getting right to the line. Pushing down. Pulling up. I'm going to rotate it all around. Doing the same thing again, getting to the top, right on the line, drawing it down, pulling it up, clockwise. So we'll pretend we did it all, and voila, we have a window. And we want to make sure the artwork fits inside the window, and it does.